Today I'm going to teach you some hand motions that go with our Old Testament timeline song. First we have creation, and we'll make the earth. God created the earth. And then fall. Next is Cain and Abel, and Cain killed his brother Abel, so we're going to make Cain killing Abel. Then we have the flood. We make the waters of the flood coming up to cover the earth. And then Job, who had such a sad life, so we'll just make sad hands on our face. And then Tower of Babel, we'll create a ziggurat with our hands. Next is Abraham, and he's the first patriarch, so we'll just make him leading his family like this. And Ishmael, whose name means God hears, so we'll just go like this, Ishmael. And then Sodom and Gomorrah. God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah by fire, so we'll just make fire with our hands. And Isaac as well. Isaac's name means laughter, so when we say Isaac, we'll just throw our heads back in laughter. Next comes Jacob and Esau. In our song about the sons of the patriarchs, we have the twins, Jacob and Esau, so we'll just make twins, Jacob and Esau. And then Israel's tribes, there were 12 tribes, so we'll just make 12 with our hands. Now, next is Joseph in Egypt, and Joseph lived in Egypt at the time of the pyramids, so we'll just make pyramids with our hands. And then Moses' life. Now we have a few entries in our song about Moses. So his early life, of course, he spent in Egypt as well. So why don't we just do a little Egyptian dance for Moses. And then we have the burning bush. So again, we'll make flames with our hand, burning bush, and plagues in Egypt. There were 10 plagues in Egypt. Next is the Exodus, where the Israelites passed through the waters of the Red Sea as on dry ground. So we'll just have them passing through Exodus. And then 10 Commandments. Next comes Desert Ark, Feast, Tabernacles. That comes all quickly together. We'll just make the tabernacle with our hands. So Desert Ark, Feast, Tabernacle. Joshua's Conquest. So we'll have Joshua leading the troops there with a charge. Joshua's Conquest, and then Judges Rule. We'll make a judge's gavel and tap it, even though those judges didn't probably use gavels. Next comes Ruth and Boaz, and we know that one night Ruth, she went to sleep at Boaz's feet. So we'll just have Ruth going to sleep, Ruth and Boaz, and then King Saul's reign. We'll just give him a crown for his reign. Then David's kingdom, and the Bible tells us David's kingdom was vast and wide, so we'll just make our hands really broad. And then Psalm's covenant. Covenant is a promise or an agreement, and so we'll just shake hands in our agreement. Next comes Solomon's temple, and we'll build the temple like this. It was beautiful and large. Solomon's temple, and then kingdom divides. So we'll just make our hands divide. Ahab and Elijah on the north side. So Ahab, he was a king, but he bowed to idols. So we'll do this for Ahab. And then Elijah did many miracles. One of them was a resurrection. So we'll just make a resurrection. So Ahab and Elijah on the north side. On our maps, north's always up, so we'll just make that for north side. And then we have Hezekiah. He was a king, but he worshiped the Lord God of heaven. So we'll make his crown like this, Hezekiah. And then Isaiah. And Isaiah was another great prophet. He had many prophecies about Jesus. And so why don't we make the sign for Jesus when we say Isaiah? Not that Isaiah was Jesus, but he had prophecies about Jesus. And they were in the southern kingdom, so we'll say Hezekiah and Isaiah on the south side. And then finally, Israel falls to Assyria's cloud. Israel, the symbol for Israel, we can make an eye with our finger and then make a beard, like a wise sage of Israel. So that's Israel falls to Assyria's clout. The Assyrians had long ringlets of hair, and so Assyria's clout. So Israel falls to Assyria's clout. Next we have Jeremiah and Ezekiel warn Judah. Jeremiah was the weeping prophet, so we can make tears for Jeremiah. And then Ezekiel, he had many famous prophecies, but one was the valley of dry bones coming to life. So we could be a skeleton for Ezekiel if we want, a skeleton coming to life. They warn Judah, and then Judah falls to Babylon. And for Babylon, we can borrow the sign from Classical Conversations, Babylon for gold. So Judah is a J. Judah falls to Babylon, And then our temple, our big beautiful temple that Solomon built, temple ruined. Next we have Daniel in the exile. If you want to remember Daniel by his time in the lion's den, you could make a lion, Daniel in the exile. The exile is when the Jews, the kingdom of Judah was taken out of the land, the promised land, and sent to Babylon. And so we have Daniel in the exile. And then we have Cyrus' decree, the Persian king Cyrus, who wrote a decree that allowed the Jews to return to the promised land. So we can have Cyrus just writing his decree, Cyrus' decree. Exiles return, so we'll just make our thumbs going back, like they're returning to the land, yay! And then temple rebuilding. Well, we had our temple destroyed, so let's rebuild it. Temple rebuilding. Next comes Esther, saves the Jews. So Esther was a queen in Persia. So we'll say Esther saves the Jews. And then Nehemiah builds the wall. It's the wall around the city of Jerusalem. Malachi foretells John the Baptist's call, and our sign for baptism is this, going down into the water and back up. So Malachi foretells John the Baptist's call. Next is Maccabean period, ends here. The Maccabeans were a group who struggled against the oppression of Rome, and so we could have them fighting. Maccabean period ends here. And then no word from God for 400 years. And that's our Old Testament timeline. So